Hey guys, welcome back to Vinceville Custom. So today we're going to do a kit review on this Colossus X-Men statue from Spawning Pool Studios, and I guess it was sculpted by Sheridan Doose. Now correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure this is from Spawning Pool Studios because, you know, I got a Juggernaut and I got a Venom over there as well. You can see how much space all this stuff takes, but this is the first time I'm actually working on a Colossus from them, so it's going to be a fun project. But there's also going to be some custom work to it. The client who gave it to me wants to change a few things to like a little bit of a different version of Colossus. But you'll see that from like what you see now to when I'm finished it up like in another month or so, you know, posting the final video. So we'll start off with the head. Like I said, it's a really good kit, but this is traditional kit sculpting. So it's like, I know a lot of people are getting used to 3D prints because, you know, like these 3D prints are perfectly keyed, and if you find a really great caster, it's almost to the point where you could just pop it out of the box and just start painting it. But, you know, traditional stuff, you gotta do a little extra work, but it's okay. Nothing really serious on these kits. You can see around here, there's some flashing around the chin. I guess what they did is they had the mold coming around here, and then maybe back around there or something. I don't know. You can see it's kind of shiny too. That's got a lot of mold release on it. So what I'll be doing is, as I'm prepping all these kits up today, you know, I've been doing this for the past 2 days, is I'm taking out all the seams, all the flashing, cleaning them all up, cutting them, getting them ready for pinning. So this way I can wash them, you know, with some sandpaper and soapy water outside, because I got to do it like outside. I can't put these things in the bathtub and everything. They're just too big. And then once they're all dried up, I could prime them up really well. So as far as the custom work though, is I think the client said, I'll have to reread the email, but he wants me to kind of take this part of the chin out and make it a little bit more sharper. I think closer to, I think he showed me a picture of Sideshow Colossus, I think, something like that with the face. And then of course with the boots, he wants me to change up something as well. So these are the boots, as you can see, you know, how it's set up. You can see seam lines going down around here in the front. You can see a seam line going around here. Nothing major. You know, it's not like a kit where sometimes when you see a seam line and then it's like shifted to like you see that much resin sticking out. It's only like a little bit of a little flashing, so it's okay. This stuff's pretty easy to take care of. So here's the body, as you can see. There was some I started working on this one a little bit. Let me just take a break and do the video, and I can get back to work. Taking some flashing out around there, you know, going around here and all that. But really good body, nice and solid. You can see with the, I think they used to just send them out hollow, but now they're filling them with foam, taking that extra step with them. So that saves me a little bit of an extra step, at least with traditional stuff. One of the things I don't like about the kit, which I wish they would have changed up with this one, is they have this part of the thigh, and then they have this boot, and then this goes in here. I think it goes in like this one, like that. I wish they would have just casted up the whole leg like this. It would have been much easier. And also with this leg as well, you can see the same thing. It's like, why split that? I don't know if they were thinking maybe it'd be easier for people to chrome this and then just glue it in. But for me, it's an extra step now, because what I got to do is I got to pin this leg into this one, and I got to pin it into this leg. But I got to make sure it all lines up with the base too. So it's like you got a wobbly effect with it. And I think that's the only downside with this Colossus kit. Other than that, I think it's really good and it'll work out. Of course, the keying, like I said, you know, it's different compared to, you know, all the, you know, modern 3D sculpts that are keyed perfectly. You know, this is just like a key that they made, and then you got to kind of seam it up. So when you put this arm into here, which I got to cut out a little bit more to get it in there, I got to pin it. I got to kind of work out this line again, you know, where this line is going to go. So you have this line here, then you would have a line here, and then you have this line. So you got to kind of work that one in a little bit. Not the end of the world, I've done worse, but it's just a couple of extra steps with these kits. And same thing with this side over here. As you can see, that's where that line would go. So what I got to kind of do is, when I attach this, I'll probably Dremel this out and then add Aves, and then I'll work my little line up and then sand it down. But what I'm going to do though for this kit specifically is I have to get the base worked up a little bit, because here's the base. Here's the base. So this piece goes over here like this for this foot, so he kind of stands here and here. So I got to kind of work this into this part of the base, and then what I got to do is I got to work these legs onto the body and then into the base, but I also have to make sure he's standing up straight. So what I'm going to be doing is, once he's all ready to go and I kind of get all my keying set up, I'm going to try to kind of complicated. I'll probably have maybe this base set up where it's kind of sitting in here on its own, but it's not like wobbling like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the body going with the legs, and I got to kind of use some glue and some metal rods, because I'm going to have a metal rod going into here to the thigh, and then I'm going to have the metal rod going from here into here. So then this piece will be really solid together. So I got to make sure we're solid here at this joint, and then we're solid here. And then I think at the end, when everything's done with this item, I don't think I got to see, but I might be able to get away with, see now that I look at it, but I'm not really sure. I mean, I could add a metal rod going in here to go into this part of the base, but then when I look at this foot here, I can't really add a metal rod because this foot is at this part of the base down here. So I don't know, maybe this kit I might have to make all one solid piece too. I think that might be the best option, because I don't think if I don't make it solid, then I might run into some issues, or if the client might run into some issues if they have to send it out and then all of a sudden the base and everything doesn't wobble. So maybe what I'm thinking now is I could Dremel through here into this foot, going through this base here into here, and then on this foot like this, so there will be a nice solid metal rod going through all here to the bottom, you know. So I'm thinking that's what I might have to do on that. I always like to make sure with these bigger items, because they're, even though it's filled with foam and it's, you know, it's big, I like to make sure the metal rods are really going to secure it, because, you know, if you pick it up the wrong way and you're just gluing these pieces in, it could just fall apart and you do all that work and everything. So I like to go the extra mile and make sure everything's pinned correctly. So, I mean, that's the kit. Like I said, you know, it's really well done. It's good. It's just a matter of a little bit of a complex puzzle piece, because they're bigger too. A smaller kit, like say if it was a little bit smaller, like maybe around, I don't know, the 18-inch total mark, you know, maybe it'd be a little bit easier. But since they're bigger, you got to kind of fudge with it and play with it. But other than that, I'm going to check the emails once it's ready to start being painted, or at least once it's put together, and then I could do the custom work. So if I have to do custom work on the boots, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it all together first, and then I'll do the custom work, because it'll be easier to have everything together so I can keep seaming everything up. But other than that, really good. So like I also said too, just now looking at the base real quick, it's a little bit shiny. So it seems to me that either this is the way it was sculpted, but touching it still feels like a little oily. So I'm going to have to make sure that all that's out. Now with these bigger kits though, I like to use Rust-Oleum 2x thick primer on these, only because that really helps me fix up a lot of errors and little parts on these items. It doesn't, like, you don't lose any detail on these items with that primer. It just really helps me, you know, get the stuff that I need to get, and it's really bonds to these pretty well. Duplicolor filler primer is okay, but I use that for more of like those 3D printed ones, but this stuff works pretty good on these. You know, so Colossus, I'm going to be trying some new chrome paints. We talked about Alclad, and Alclad would be just too complex, because Alclad is really great for, you know, like I'm doing a 1/4 scale 1/152 with her chrome armor or the bracelets, because you can use Alclad Aqua Clear after the chrome and you can seal it. You lose a little bit of the mirror, but you still get like a nice mirror chrome bracelet. For Colossus, if I was going to use Alclad, if you don't seal it, it'll start rubbing off and you get it all over your hands. You would have to seal it. But since he's so big, it's very hard to get a nice good clear coat. So I talked to the client, and we're going to try some other paints. I also talked to Woody from Archer Fine Transfers. He recommended me some other chrome paints. I've seen some other videos on some other chromes out of a can, a rattle can. So the idea is we don't want him to be a mirror Colossus, you know, like a mirror chrome. We want him to be more of like a steel chrome, like, you know, like not really like in Deadpool movie, but kind of like between the Deadpool movie chrome and the Alclad chrome mirror shines. We want to get to that middle point. So we'll see what happens when the final video is done. But there you go. That is the Colossus review. Hopefully you guys gives you an idea of what's involved, how big it is. And, you know, maybe in another month it'll be all done and I'll have the final video. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.